Hello, hello. Thanks for tuning in. As you may notice immediately, we have background music today. I still can't hear it. I'm scared to mess with my audio settings, though they took a while to get set up. So what's actually happening currently is I am listening to my own music. Some lo-fi stuff, and you guys get the funky jazz on loop. Hopefully it's not too loud. I thought it was alright when I was basically how I test the background music, since I can't hear it, is I have to start like a recording and then talk so I can hear my volume and the music that's playing in the stream. And then just little snippets of it at different levels, and then find the one I like the best and keep it there. Oh, I got a bit of a headache today that I'm struggling. I took some medicine a little bit ago. Oh, about an hour ago. Just hit me. I don't know, maybe I need caffeine. I've been drinking a lot of soda lately. But no big deal, no big deal. Certainly won't stop me from talking about some of my favorite anime. Yay, so excited. Excited to share my favorite shows with other people. If I can get one person to watch something, then I have succeeded. But yes, today we are talking about favorite anime by genre. I went through a bunch of the genres of media and listed them all, such as action, adventure, fantasy, sci-fi, thriller, blah 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 blah. And I picked one show that I really liked that I thought encapsulated that genre pretty well. There's some ones that maybe I would like in other categories, honestly, but I had to move them around because I wanted them on the list, and I guess they also fit this category. But like for some of them, I was like, well, for the comedy, I want to pick a comedy that's maybe like purely a comedy, like my favorite pure comedy. There might be other shows that I like better that are like a fusion of genres, but I tried to pick stuff that were more pure and not a whole bunch of different genres. But there's some stuff I cheated on with that. That's not a rule through the whole thing, because I would be remiss if I didn't include them. Anyway, let us get started. Feel free to comment your favorite stuff, and I will talk about them. I'm looking to do some more watch-alongs, maybe of some series, but I don't know what to do. I've pretty much watched everything that I want to watch already, so like, if it would have to be like rewatching something, which I'm fine to, but I also like watching new stuff, because I could have more genuine reactions. I don't know, but feel free to recommend stuff and I will give it a watch. All right, so let us begin. And we're starting off with, I should have put a drum roll sound effect in. Maybe I could do it on my chest. Action. I chose Hunter x Hunter as my favorite action show. A classic. Obviously the remade version, which is pretty much better in every way than the original one, which is a little dated at this point. But the new one is timeless. Barely any filler. Great animation. Hype action scenes. Fantastic story. Remember what I just said about trying to pick sort of pure shows that don't flip genres, like span different genres? What? Immediately out of the gate, that rule has been broken, because originally I think I would have liked to have put Hunter x Hunter in adventure, but I felt like something else was more deserving of that, and it didn't fit any other categories really. So Hunter x Hunter takes the action spot on my list. This is it's like 150 episodes. I don't know if I want to say it's a long running shonen, because there's way longer running shonen than that, but it's definitely not a short anime. So it's the short end of being in long. Long short. But there's like no filler. There's maybe like one, possibly two recap episodes that are like one of those 0.5 episodes that you could like skip over, but everything else is watchable the whole way through. You're always having a good time with Hunter x Hunter. The characters are lovable and their motivations are good. They have some of the best villains in the show, and the power system, the Nen, is regarded as one of the best power systems, if not the best of all time. And I'd have to agree with that. Nen is so good. They don't really have any power scaling issues like other things do. It's fantastic. There's not much to complain about with Hunter x Hunter at all. It's almost perfect. I guess the only complaint is that we'll probably never see the end of the story. The anime ends off in a good point, but the story continues off in the manga, and the author is, health issues, hiatus. He's basically never finishing. Unfortunate, but anime only, it's good. You're not really missing much. It's a good stopping point where the anime ends. But yes, Hunter x Hunter, great show. Probably my favorite shonen. But it takes my action spot here. Next, we shall move on to sports. Haikyuu takes the sports spot. It was not really a close competition, but I have watched quite a bit of little sports anime. I like some of the more realistic ones. The characters don't seem to have superpowers. Looking at you, Kuroko no Basket. But Haikyuu is great. Good friendship themes, team themes, rivalry stuff. Most of the time, well, maybe not most of the time is spent on the court. Maybe like half, maybe 60%. There's a lot of off-court stuff too, where they're, practicing or having interpersonal relationships and dynamics and drama and all that kind of stuff. But this show is great. Every character, even the little side characters, get a backstory. Everybody feels real and fleshed out. I think sports shows are great when they teach you about the game and you feel like you end up learning more about the sport. Like, I really like Blue Lock also, but that didn't teach me jack diddly about soccer. If anything, it told you how to play soccer wrong. But IQ is great. I've actually watched some YouTube series, like watch-alongs with like volleyball coaches watching the show, and they're saying how accurate everything is, all the animations and everything, the form, the tactics, everything. Obviously, maybe at a high school level, this stuff wouldn't be going on. This is more like professional, tactics and skills and things, and maybe stuff that's a little unrealistic to happen in real life. It could happen. Like, it's not like it's out of the realm of human possibility, but like to be able to do what they're doing in the show consistently is probably like not a thing that can happen in real life. That being said, yeah, everything can happen, so it's sort of grounded. It's exciting. Very hype show. I absolutely love all the characters, and it makes you want to play volleyball, which means it's doing its job. I'm very excited for more of this to come out. I think next we're getting some movies for it. So eagerly looking forward to that. Some other sports animes that would have been maybe honorable mentions. Again, Blue Lock. Just because I like it so much, but it's not the best sports anime. But what Blue Lock does that nothing else really does is just hype all the way through. That show's a roller coaster that just doesn't stop. It's like a roller coaster goes up and down. Sorry, it's just a bullet train. That's a better analogy. It's just vroom. Speaking of analogies, Haikyuu does a great job with visual metaphors for things like pressure and like anxiety and things. It's not much to complain about with this. Maybe you wish it would spend a little less time on some of the side characters and get back to the main cast that you like, because maybe some of the side characters don't resonate with you. But the fact that it does it for everybody, it makes the world feel real and the characters feel important, like everybody's living a life, and they're not just side characters. They're actual people, which is nice. Another honorable mention here would have been maybe Hajime no Ippo, the absolute classic that is. It's a boxing show. It's old. There's a couple different parts for it. I'm not even sure I've watched all of it. There might be like one of the seasons that I haven't been able to find where to stream it. But the stuff that I have watched, I've really enjoyed. The fights are amazing, and the characters are really good. Oh, and just something about people punching the crap out of each other. It's just exciting. It gives you that like other sports kind of don't give you that, like the battle feeling that something like, I don't know, combines like sports and tournaments and those kind of like stakes with like the battle stuff like you would get in any of the other action shows. And it's a good combination, those physical sports shows. But anyway, Haikyuu took the spot. Haikyuu's the winner. All around the best sports show, beloved by most. And we shall move on from there. Next we have romance. So this show is not even finished yet, but it's definitely taken my number one spot. The Danger's in My Heart. I vibe with this show. The pacing has won me over completely. It's really cute. The characters, I think, are in junior high. so it's a little young, but the adolescence is like refreshing and innocent. It's like your first crush kind of thing. It's just really wholesome. The premise of this is like the main character here, the guy in the black shirt, black uniform. He is like that chuny, edgy, like younger guy who's like, oh, I'm too cool for everybody, and like I'm the edgiest guy in the world kind of thing. And he doesn't kind of know how to sort his feelings out, but eventually he kind of like drops all that within like maybe like the first 4 or 5 episodes, and it turns into a more classic romance. But it's just like the interactions in this show are kind of small things, very thoughtful, and it's just super cute and super wholesome, and I absolutely adore it. That said, you know, if you asked me in like a year or two, I don't know, this might not be my number one romance anymore, but it's definitely probably the show I'm vibing with the most right now. But yeah, this is purely a junk food personal pick. I don't think maybe it's the best like romance ever, maybe, but it's my favorite. Unfortunately, you can only like watch it legally right now on High Dive. So there's that too. But yeah, I mean, and look at that top middle picture, that reverse the reverse wall push. That's innovation. But yeah, love the show. Highly recommend. Moving on. Next, we have comedy. And my pick is Haven't You Heard? I'm Sakamoto. Haven't You Heard? I'm Sakamoto is more of a skit gag comedy where they have little mini episodes in it. Not too many. There may be like 2, like those half episode skits kind of things, where they'll put like 2 like titles in the title of the episode. It's like, this is the first half and this is the second half and this is what they're getting up to. But yeah, the whole premise of this is this dude is swag incarnate, and everything he does is the coolest thing ever. Even when he's doing the dumbest stuff, he makes it cool and everybody loves it. That's basically the whole premise of the show, and it works. It's really good. In this top middle picture, catches a bee in the classroom with a compass. He like sword fights it and then captures it, tosses it out the window. In this top right picture, he is sort of like hide and seeking around his friend's house as his friend's mother hunts him down because she loves him for some reason. I think he looks like a soap opera actor she has a crush on. She's like, oh, I love this high school kid for some reason. I will hunt him so he can be mine. And he is running for his life. But yeah, that's why he's spidering to the ceiling. I don't remember the bottom right picture with the NASA shirt and the hot dog. But yeah. Definitely a good show. He reforms some school delinquents. Yeah, I don't know, If you're in the mood for a good chuckle, haven't you heard I'm Sakamoto might be one of the best pure comedies that aren't like those little 3-minute skit shows. It has some more substance to it. But yeah, not much to say about that. Pretty simple premise. Moving on. Drama. My favorite drama, not even close, is March Comes In Like a Lion. This show is definitely not even one of my favorite drama, but one of my favorite of all time. Probably in my top 5. It's phenomenal. The art style is sort of like soft, colored pencil-y. It tackles some really deep themes like depression, loneliness, and anxiety, pressure, bullying, all pretty much like all the stuff. And it does a fantastic job conveying feelings, good and bad, through visual metaphors. I've never seen anything do it as well as March Comes In Like a Lion. And it just both sides of the coin, like the good feelings, the bad feelings, it has it all. The main character is adopted and sort of going through life by himself, taking the only path that he knows, which is to be a shogi player. He doesn't necessarily even like it. It's just, how he was raised and what he's good at and how he's making his living. And he's struggling, and eventually he finds these 3 sisters who are in that picture. Well, they're in a lot of the pictures. Who sort of come into his life and show him what a family should be. And it's a nice story about like found family and a guy trying to just overcome the trauma in his life. It's great. All the characters are so good, so lovable. I can't say enough good things about this show. If there's any like 2 shows that I would recommend you definitely watch, this is one of them. There's another one coming up later on that I would also recommend you watch, but the show is phenomenal. I can't praise it enough. It is a little slow sometimes. Not in a bad way, because it really lets you like sit and feel like some of the heaviness, but it's definitely not like a really exciting show. So you gotta, when you want to, it's drama. When you want something like that, sit down and you're ready to feel. This is the show. And there's some cute cats. You can see those in the top right picture. Some cute kitties, and they talk. I think, there's like a narrator for their voice. They basically just want food all the time. So, yeah, good cats. Accurate. All right, we shall move on from this. March Comes In Like a Lion, and we will now go to horror. All right, I'm gonna be real with you guys. I don't like horror. Horror's not good. So I guess this was kind of an easy pick, sort of, because this was probably the only show in the horror category that I thought was even good. That said, it is really good, but it's also not, horror's kind of not like the main thing. Like, it's not the main theme of the show, or, well, how do I say it? Like, it's a horror theme. That is the theme. Like, it's like a zombie apocalypse. But that's like the only thing. Like, the zombies aren't scary. So it's not like it's, yeah, it's themed horror, but it's not like a scary horror. It's just like that kind of niche, zombie apocalypse kind of thing. So that's why it's in the horror category. But what it does make you feel is, that life, it's worth having fun. It's not worth working yourself to death for things that don't matter, and go live your life. So the premise of this show is, you got the main character whose name I can't even remember, but he's working at a black company. Life sucks. Everything's bad, depressing. Thinks about like maybe doing the big die, and just dreading going to work in the morning. That's all that he thinks about. That is his life. He used to have, friends and a social life, but it all just turned into work, and it's terrible. Then the zombie apocalypse happens, and everybody starts dying and, getting munched by zombies, and this guy's like, let's go. I don't have to go to work tomorrow. Because real. And he sits down and he's like, this is the stuff I want to do before I die. And he, sets it that his new goal is to live the best life he can before he gets munched by some zombies. And it's really well done. The animation's great. There's the way they stylize the zombies with the multicolors and like all the chromatic paints and things. It's just the vibes, good vibes. So good message, good animation, good show all around. So on 100, it's a winner, and it's short. It's like 12 episodes. You should watch this too. Moving on. Thriller. I have chosen Made in Abyss as my thriller show. Thriller's kind of a weird genre that I don't understand, honestly. From my understanding, from reading what thriller actually is, it's sort of about like the vibes that it gives you, what it makes the viewer feel, and it's supposed to give you like those anxiety, uncomfortable feelings. So I thought Made in Abyss was a good choice for that. It's a really good show. It definitely could have also went into the adventure category, but I'm gonna put it in thriller because aside from maybe the music, which it has a really, really good soundtrack, Made in Abyss has probably got its fame from the shock value that it has. It's basically like throwing these children into a big doom pit and torturing them. Which is uncomfortable, and there's some body horror. There's a lot of body horror. So that's why I put it in the thriller category. But on top of all that, it is a very good show. The world building is super interesting. The characters, their motivations feel realistic. And it's just it's good. It's a show that everything you see in it is sort of like breathtaking, wondrous, and beautiful in an eerie, like really dangerous way. There's definitely like a lot of scary, messed up stuff in this show. But on the other hand, it's all like It's just, it gives you that like wanderlust feeling where you want to know more about it, and you want to explore and see more of the world, even though you know that it's like, really bad and dangerous and stuff. There's all sorts of monsters and creatures and plants and things, and the different environments. It's just all very foreign and fantasy and beautiful to look at, and the music really elevates it to the next level. Like when you see like this that big gaping hole that I put in one of these pictures, the pit that everybody's descending into, that's what the abyss is. It's like this big column that just goes down into the earth that you can't really come back up from after a certain point. When you try to ascend from the pit, you're hit with they call it a curse, and bad things happen to you, and even worse things depending on how far down you are when you try to come back up. And eventually you just, you die. So after a certain point, you just got to keep going down. But yeah, when you see like, this mysterious giant spanning crater, and the sun sets in the background, or the sunrise, and the music's playing, it hits different. It's fantastic. One of the best experiences in anime is that scene, and some of the other ones that Made in Abyss gives. This is a show that evokes feelings, maybe not good feelings, but it definitely makes you feel things, and I really appreciate that in media. Media is kind of like, to me, is a waste of time to watch if it doesn't make you feel anything. So I really value shows like this that give you any type of feeling, even like the really uncomfortable stuff. But yeah, Made in Abyss, great show. Moving on. Next we have fantasy. All right, Mushoku Tensei, the grandfather of isekai. This show is great. It's a great show. The production value is phenomenal. The world building is very detailed, really cool. In the first season, up to like episode 25, they didn't even have like an opening. They showed you details of the world. They would like, through the opening song, which they changed depending on your location, like your city or your like where the characters were, they would have like a couple different songs for it to like fit the theme of the area you were in. And it would just like sort of pan around the area and show you little details of the world with nothing but the music playing and just visual storytelling. And it is incredible. That alone embodies like the fantasy theme so great. And the world of Mushoku Tensei was so interesting to me that this is the only thing I've ever purchased like the light novels of, or just any additional media, because I wanted to see more of the story. This was the only show that's ever did that to me. And this is like a grand saga of our main character, Rudius, who gets isekai'd. He gets the truck cooned, and then gets reincarnated into the fantasy world as a baby, and eventually grows up. And the show right now is taking him up to his young adult years, I think. But as far as like the whole story goes, I don't know how much they're actually gonna eventually end up animating, but the story goes through his whole life, which is, I think, really cool. Not enough shows show people living in the fantasy world rather than just, I don't know, this, you're here now, go do this thing. Yeah, show's over. It's unsatisfying. But this show, the main character, he actually has a life here, and it feels like, there's stakes. A lot of I'd be remiss if I talked about the show and didn't talk about why people don't like this show, though. Our main character is not a good person. He is just, he is a gross human being. That being said, you can enjoy media without approving of what the characters are doing. And he does, there's character growth through the series. He gets, he improves as a person as he grows up and, understands himself better. And it's just, that's another one of the enjoyable things I think about the show is the growth that all the characters have. People change over time because time passes in the show. And it's good to see. But yeah, I thought Mushoku Tensei, absolutely embodies the fantasy genre completely. There's monsters, there's magic. The world building, I think, is probably the most important part of fantasy. And Mushoku Tensei has that in spades. Everything is interesting and makes sense and cohesive. It's wonderful. But we shall move on from this to our next genre, which is sci-fi. All right, we got Vivi, Florette's Eye Song, or however you pronounce that. I'm honestly not sure how you just call it Vivi. You don't have to worry about the rest. But I'm not a huge sci-fi fan overall. It seems like most of the sci-fi in anime is, mecha. There's some other stuff, such as Vivi, such as Steins Gate. Steins Gate was also a nice contender for this. But it's a little slow to recommend. Like, the story is great, but as an entire experience, it's a little bit of a slug. But Vivi's shorter. Vivi is exciting all the way through. I love Vivi. This is the story about what are you, an android? No. Yes. Android. Who, there's a lot of androids in the world of Vivi. And she is a singer. They get one directive, and that's what they do. And her directive is to make people happy through song. Eventually, in the future, the robots rebel, that classic thing, start murdering all the humans. They send a directive back in time somehow to Vivi, because she is one of the only surviving androids. She was put into a museum from that time period, far enough back where she would be able to actually probably help stop the robot rebellion. So she was chosen for that reason. And they had her on hand. And she gets a directive to basically try to change some key events in history that led to the robots, overthrowing people in the future. And So yeah, Vivi is like, getting involved in like political stuff, actiony stuff, throughout, time leading up to that present at 100 years after, Vivi was supposed to be around or something like that. And every time she resolves an event, she like goes to sleep or whatever. I feel like I'm doing a bad job at describing this one, but it's a little complicated because there's some time shenanigans involved. But basically, Vivi, it's a beautiful show. There's a lot of cool action. The premise is pretty cool. There's some emotional bits. It's just a really good sci-fi story. I think it embodies science fiction perfectly. And it's kind of original. It's not just haha big robot punch thing or big monster destroying town or that kind of thing. I don't know. Not that robots rebelling against humanity is very original, but the way they're dealing with it is more original than most things. But yeah, Vivi, pretty good. Pretty good. Moving on to the next one. We got Slice of Life. As you can see from the slides, I think Slice of Life is bad. And before anybody attacks me for that, I think pure Slice of Life is bad. Slice of Life with other shows, I really enjoy it. Makes Slice of Life injected into other genres, makes the worlds feel lived in and the characters feel more real. Slice of Life as the primary focus of the show, which is what this category would have been, makes the show boring. There's barely any good Slice of Life shows. Even like looking through the tag on Mal of like, I've seen a couple of these that are all right. I wouldn't even put them as Slice of Life as their main tag. So I'm not picking a Slice of Life to put on my list. I like Slice of Life with other things. I don't want Slice of Life as the main focus. Bad. Even like most of the stuff is just like romance with Slice of Life, or I don't know, fantasy with Slice of Life. But those are the parts that make it interesting. It's not Slice of Life. Slice of Life and fantasy is interesting because it's slow enough to explore the world, and it's about the world building of the fantasy world. And Slice of Life and romance is good because it's about the romance, and it's down to earth. That's why that's good. Slice of Life by itself is boring. And I'm not saying another thing about it. Moving on. Adventure. All right, this is the other show on my list here that, aside from March Comes In Like a Lion, that I would recommend everybody watch. It's only, I think, 12 or 13 episodes, and I don't want to use the word life-changing, but it almost is. This show is so damn inspiring that it'll make you get up and want to do those things that you've put off, those things that you thought maybe were too much effort or you couldn't do. It's absolutely incredible. A Place Further Than the Universe is a story about these 4 girls on the cover here, basically taking a trip to Antarctica while they're in high school. Something that everybody's telling them, like, that's crazy, that can't be done, blah, 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 blah. And, they struggle and they persevere and they do it. They get down there and they have the time of their life. There's some drama. This also could have been in the drama category, but it's definitely not beating out March Comes In Like a Lion for drama. And it's definitely, those are the only 2 categories, so it had to go in adventure. And it certainly is an adventure. Maybe not a crazy fantasy adventure, but it's definitely an adventure. I can't say enough how emotional and incredible this show is. It really makes you feel like you can do anything, and that's something special that not a lot of things can do. I don't really want to spoil anything about this show. I mean, there's not really much to spoil. It's a pretty simple show. But, you know, I highly recommend you go and watch this one. Frankly, I might do a watch along for this show to maybe encourage more people to watch it. And I would love to do a rewatch of it myself. It's beautiful. The friendships and just everything. As far as pure adventure goes, this is a very realistic one, and it's one that it makes you want to go out and do it yourself. Or do something yourself. Maybe not this exactly, but it'll get you up and moving. All right, moving on. Mystery. All right. There's not a lot of good mystery anime. Odd Taxi is certainly probably the best one. Most anime mysteries sort of either are impossible to solve because they don't give you enough information and it's like an ass pull, or they treat you like you're stupid and it's just dangled in front of your face and none of the characters can figure it out for some reason. And it's incredibly frustrating. Odd Taxi has fantastic writing. All the characters are animal people, like anthropomorphic animal people. We don't even know if that's actually true or if it's the main character just seeing everybody that way. The writing on the dialogue between all the interactions of the characters is next level. They have an entire character, like this porcupine dude who is in the middle bottom of the Odd Taxi shot there, who just raps everything he says, and it sounds really, really good. And this is just a fantastic, like, it takes a whole bunch of seemingly unrelated characters and intertwines them in this crazy web of a story. There's just, I can't sing its praises highly enough. Odd Taxi is such a treat to watch. And I can't think of a better mystery show than this. All right, moving on to what I think may be the last one that I have. And this one is probably more of an anime specific genre, if I'm remembering correctly. Harem. This show just came out. It is finished airing, or at least season 1 is. They're probably doing a season 2. One of the funniest shows I've ever seen. It is the perfect harem show. It's almost a parody of harem as a whole. And I don't think I've ever been as boisterous, like laughing vocally as in making noises as I was when I was watching 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You. This show is a freaking ride. Basically, our main character here, Rentaro, is the nicest puppy dog man you ever did see. He is the damnedest, perfectest romance protag you've ever had. And basically, he cannot find a girlfriend. He's tried and tried and tried, and it's just not working out for him. Eventually, he goes to a shrine and he prays to God. And God's like, well, you're in luck, Sonny. You got a soulmate coming your way, and not just one, you got 100 of them. And he's like, wow, that's crazy. Why though? He's like, oh, I messed up. I wrote, you get 100 instead of the one. It's like, okay, cool. And then God's like, oh, yep, by the way, if you don't date them, they're gonna die. So he has to now, under duress of death, like them dying, date all 100 of these women. And he's doing his damnedest to do it. All the girls are fantastic, oh god, no. Wait, is that the word? All these girls are well done characters who have some meat on their bones. And they definitely feel like there's reasons for the relationships. It's not just like we're dating because that's what the show said, but like, there's reasons for them to like the main character and for the main character to like them. All of them have, backstory and struggles and things, and none of them are forgotten about, even with such a large cast. Even though the first season maybe only has like 5 or 6 of the girls, which is still a large number. They all get their time. You feel connected to all of them. It's just somehow this show does a better job than every other harem show at being a harem, on top of parodying harem in general. It is absolutely wild. Probably one of the craziest shows I've ever seen. And yeah, it is what it is. If you don't want to see a harem show, don't watch it, because it's a harem show. But if you don't mind it and you want a really good comedy, this is your show. Boy, it's phenomenal. Alrighty, I believe those are all of my slides. So we shall go back to the beginning now. Yep, those were all of my top anime by genre. If you found one that you thought sounded enjoyable, please give it a watch and tell me what you thought. Definitely, if I recommend any two, it's March Comes In Like a Lion and A Place Further Than the Universe. Both are available to watch on Crunchyroll. But yeah, maybe put some comments on the video to let me know some of your favorites. I will talk about them at some point. Maybe maybe give them a watch myself if I haven't seen them. Oh, and I know some people are complaining about not getting stream notifications. Hit that YouTube bell notification to enable it to give you the notifications when I start streaming, because otherwise it won't. I feel like such a shill saying that. I hate that, but that is what you got to do. I tried it on one of my other accounts and I'm getting notified when I start my streams. So that's what you got to do if you want to see when I go live. I'm not great at scheduling things in advance. I just realized before I started this stream that I didn't even make the thumbnail for it. I forgot about that. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you again next weekend, probably doing something. I don't know what yet, because as I said, I'm bad at planning in advance, but there will be something. So until next time, toodaloo.